Hello everyone, this is Module 1 Live Applications. In this video tutorial, I'm going to be showing you how to use Excel templates. In particular, we're going to concentrate on two of them that I find very useful, and I think you're going to start applying them in your daily life regardless of your major or the stage of life in which you are. So let's take a look at those templates. To access Excel templates, we want to go to the Backstage view. So press File, the tab on the left top corner of your screen. That will take you to what we call the Backstage view. And usually you would click on the first icon here on your top left, blank workbook, right, to start a new workbook. To the right of that icon, you will see examples of several templates, and yours may look different because the ones that I have here are the ones that I most typically use, or the ones that I have recently opened. So we have any year custom calendar, a personal budget, a homework log, I have a loan amortization schedule. We'll actually cover one of those in a later module when we talk about financial functions, and a personal monthly budget. If you're looking for something different, click on More Templates, that green link on the right hand side. And here, if you scroll down with your mouse or by moving the bar on the right hand side, you'll see several examples of very useful templates. So what is a template? It's essentially a pre-made worksheet or workbook where it's already formatted and you already have the cells assigned for you to enter data. Calculations will be automatically computed. There are graphs that are automatically updated based on the data that you enter. So they're very, very useful applications in your daily life. As you can see, we have a party planner, a wedding budget. Maybe you're taking this in your senior year and you're thinking about getting married soon. A grocery list, a weekly lesson planner, so many different examples. If you can't find what you're looking for here, you can also click on this search box and just simply type a keyword for what you're looking for. Another option is to look through these templates in the different categories. So here under the search box, I have different categories: business, personal, planners, list, budget, etc. So what happens if I click on business? As you can see, I see very professional looking templates. All of these are related to the area of business. So you can scroll through all of them and just choose what you need to, or maybe explore it and you can find something that you never thought you needed. Let's go back with the arrow next to the search box and let's look at a different category, personal. All right, so here are some more examples. You have a personal mileage tracker, household to-do list, a photo family tree, etc. Right? So go ahead and explore them as you have time and see which ones you can start using in your personal life. I'd love to hear from you in the discussion board. Maybe even take a screenshot of a new spreadsheet, new worksheet that you've created. Tell us how you're using it. I would love to hear feedback from you, and maybe some of you can get ideas from your classmates as well. All right, so I'm going to go back to the regular templates that I typically use, because here I have two of the ones that we're going to be using today. The first one is this calendar, so I'm going to double click on it. All right, so here I get a brief description of what this template does, and then we're going to click on that green square that says create. Right, so this is just a very traditional calendar, and you may be thinking, why do I need this if I can put everything on my phone? Yes, I do that too. I have all my appointments and important events on my phone with reminders so I don't forget anybody's birthday, right? But if you're a visual person like me, I also need to have a printed calendar. So using this template, you will never have to buy a calendar again or even a planner. I'd like to have a planner, a printed planner, where I can see my entire week and hopefully my entire month so that I can plan ahead. And also I like to be able to write things on it, because sometimes I have to make quick edits and move something from one day to another or from one time to another. So a written planner, a visual planner, allows me to do that in a much more efficient way. Now, if you are totally happy using your phone, then go ahead and go for it. You can actually print the calendar on your phone as well. So what I can do here is I can adjust the year. Let's see, this is for 2019, so I'm going to change it to 2022. Just simply click on that Excel cell and you can type in the new year. Now this is set to start in January, start month number 1. Since our semester starts in August, and that would be month 8, I'm going to click on that cell and press the number 8. All right, so now I'm going to have it set to August. I'm going to press enter, and that's going to change it to August 2022. If you can see the different tabs, so these are the different worksheets in a workbook at the bottom. You can see 1, 2, 3, 4, and so on. If I click on worksheet 2, that's going to take me to September. Worksheet 3, that would be the next month, October, and so on, right? So I'm going to click back on tab 1, which is my beginning month, August. All right, so here you can go ahead and do other things like choose the start day. Here I have it starting on a Sunday, so you can customize the colors, the theme, etc. Different things, modifications that you can make to your calendar so that it can look the way you want it to look. All right, so what I suggest that you do with this calendar is use it to put the assignments that you have for this class. For example, print out the sheets and put them in the front of your folder where you have all your materials, or even better, maybe put in all your exams, all your assignments or exams for all your classes in this calendar so that you can keep on track and have everything in a very organized manner. So for example, in our class, we're starting module 1 on Monday, August the 22nd, and our deadlines are always on Sundays. So on Sunday here, I could write module 1. We have our first assignment, which is a textbook project, and I'm just going to say MOD1. I'm just going to abbreviate so that I have enough space to fit everything I need to. Press enter. Also, on that first Sunday, we're going to have module 1, the training assignment. All right, so those are the assignments or things that I have to complete by the end of the day on Sunday the 28th. You can even put a time there. All those 2 things are due on Sundays at 11 p.m. So you can put an 11 p.m. before each of those items. Now this will give me the deadlines, but I want to go ahead and plan my week. So perhaps I could do my reading, my textbook readings on Monday. So module 1, reading, right? If I press on my keyboard the arrow to the right, that'll take me to Tuesday. And on Tuesday, I'm going to plan to do my training, module 1 training, right? Maybe that day I can also watch my video tutorial. So module 1 video tutorial. All right, move to the next day. On Wednesday, I'm going to plan to do my textbook project. So module 1 textbook project, and so on. So plan your week ahead. Even though things are due on Sunday, we don't want to wait until the last day, because remember that you have 3 chances or 3 attempts for each of these grade components, right? So if you don't get 100% the first time, ideally you want to get 100%. Everybody should be able to finish this class with an A. So maybe make your Thursday and Friday a makeup day, right? So if you have to repeat an assignment, or for some reason you couldn't complete what you had on your schedule on Wednesday, you can attempt to do it on Friday, right? So go ahead and plan your week using this calendar. Then you can go ahead and print it out by month, or print out the whole year if you want. And that way you will have all your deadlines super organized. Let's take a look at the other templates. So we're going to press on File again, click on File. And here we have our different suggested templates again. The next one that I'm going to use is called Personal Budget. Again, if you don't see that listed there, make sure that you go to More Templates and look for that particular name. So I'm going to click on Personal Budget, double click on it. And here you have a personal budget where you're going to list your different sources of income every month, your monthly expenses, and your monthly savings. As you can see at the bottom, on the bottom left, you have different tabs, different worksheets in different colors. So the first one says Summary. That's the one we have on the screen right now. The next one, the blue one, if you click on it, is your monthly income. The orange one, I'm going to click on that one, will have a list of expenses. And then the last one in green is your monthly savings. So the purpose of this worksheet is that you start getting used to organize your monthly budget. If you want to learn more about personal finance, I strongly recommend that you take that class. It's called Personal Finance with Dr. Kugli. It's also an online class, and it's the perfect follow-up for this class because you can use a lot of the Excel skills that you will acquire in this class to your personal finance, and you'll learn more about that in her class. All right, so here's just a quick preview of how to create a budget. This is just a great step to get your personal finances in order. So the first sheet, as I said, is our summary. We're going to go back to that at the end once we complete our sheet. So let's start with our monthly income, the blue sheet. All right, so here we have a list of our sources of income. And as you can see, it's already a pre-made worksheet. All you have to do is click on a certain cell and modify those numbers. All right, so the totals will be completely and automatically added for you. Let's say that you receive an allowance of, say, $2,000 a month. So I'm going to enter 2,000, and I'm not worrying about the dollar sign or the comma separator. I'm just entering 2,000, 2000 in my keyboard. The format has already been done for you. My income source 2, let's say that sometimes in the evenings or on the weekends, you work in a restaurant and you make an extra $1,000, right? So we have that already. And then other, maybe you are a very good artist and you sell some things on Etsy, right? So on average, you sell about $250 a month, right? So $250, we'll leave it like that. All right, so as you can see, if we add up, that would be $3,000, $3,250. If I go to the summary, that result would be already added up for you there. So we didn't even have to add it up, right? So $3,250 is your income. You could always use the sum function that we'll learn in this module to make sure that that total is correct. If you want to double check it, I could press equal, type the word sum, open parentheses, and with my left click, grab that first cell where I have entered that first source of income, so cell C4 to cell C6 in this case. So you can see there is that dotted line around that matrix, those 3 cells, because those are the ones that I want to add up. Close your parentheses with your keyboard and then press enter. All right, so 3,250. You can probably do that math in your head, right? But if we had just different numbers, more difficult numbers, you can do that just to double check that your spreadsheet is working. Next, let's go to our monthly expenses. So go to the orange tab on the bottom of your screen. All right, here we have a list of potential monthly expenses. All of these are not going to apply to you. You may need to delete some, you may need to modify some or add some that are not listed here, right? But we have the date, the due date, so make sure that you put those in, and then also the amount, right? So some examples here are your rent or your mortgage, electric bill, gas, your cell phone bill, groceries. Those are really expensive nowadays, right? With our high inflation, car payment, auto expenses, credit card bills. We have entertainment, and then a miscellaneous item at the end in case, you know, you have some extra expenses and you don't have a category for it every month. One suggestion that I would make here, one thing that I like to do with my personal budget is to divide my expenses in those that are fixed and those that are variable. So for example, things such as rent or mortgage, your electric, gas, all your bills in general are fixed in the sense that you have to pay them, right? Not the amount necessarily, as you know, your electric bill will vary throughout the year on months that you use the AC more. So those are fixed in the sense that you have to pay them. The amount may not be fixed. So one thing that I would do is maybe create 2 different categories. You can just insert a row here and add a category and separate them, or you could color code them. So I'm gonna select cells B4 to D4. So my rent or mortgage row with the date and the amount. So I just use left click on my mouse to highlight those 3. And then here you see this little bucket under the font group. This is how you fill a certain cell with color. So I'm gonna click on that drop down menu, that little arrow pointing down, and then here you can choose the color. So I'm going to make my fixed expenses red. Okay, so I'm gonna put all of those I'm gonna say cell phone could be a variable because I could get rid of my cell phone potentially. Groceries, this is gonna be fixed as well. I have to buy food, car payment, etc. Right, I'm not going to do all of them, but I'm just giving you some examples. And let's go ahead and highlight our variable expenses with a different color, maybe green. So what could be variable? All right, entertainment. So that's something that I don't really have to pay. I could get away or just not make that expense in a certain month if I need to. Maybe my credit cards, right? If I use credit cards for extra clothing, I could just try to reduce that, so it's going to be variable, etc. Maybe personal care, right? Again, depending on what that personal care is for you, it may be necessary, so maybe a fixed account or bill for you. So just make sure that you divide them in those two different categories. Why do I want to do this? Because when I complete my budget, if I see that my expenses are greater than my income, or they're almost as high as my income, then I want to make some changes, right? So we're going to talk about that in a second, but we want to categorize them. Now, another suggestion here, some expenses that are in my fixed category, the amounts are also going to be fixed. For example, rent or mortgage, right? That's going to be the same amount. My student loans is going to be the same amount every month. My car loan, etc. Other fixed expenses are going to have a variable amount, as I mentioned earlier. For example, let's say my groceries, right? So one way in which you can calculate and put a fixed number in there is to just take an average. What you can do is look at your bank statements or your credit card statements for the last 3 months and just take an average, right? So that means we're going to add up those 3 amounts for the last 3 months and then divide by 3. And just enter that average as your estimated expense for groceries. All right. So once we have our expenses, let's look at the monthly savings. You may not be saving anything right now, but it would be a really good idea to get started. All right. So let's go ahead and assume that you do have savings, and if not, that you plan to. So here we're going to enter the dates in which we make our deposits and the amounts. Right, so here we have 3 deposits of 200, 250, and 100 respectively. So if I add them up, that would be 500, 550, right? So let's take a look at the summary. So as you can see, my monthly savings are 550. My monthly expenses, they were automatically updated for me. The total is calculated automatically for me, so I don't have to do that. One thing here that I wanted to mention, if you have another item to add to your expenses, what I would recommend is inserting a row before the end here instead of adding another one, because the formula for the total expenses ends with this item with miscellaneous. So if you add something below it, your spreadsheet is not going to add that new item. But instead, if I click on cell on row 15 and I just click on number 15 on the left side of the screen, right? Instead of here in the first column, I'm clicking on the actual number 15 so that I'm selecting that whole row. And then I can right click with my mouse right there and then insert, and then it's inserting a row, right? Sometimes it asks you whether you want to insert a column or a row depending on when you are. But since here I am on that row, it's going to automatically insert a row. So I could add another item here and add a certain amount. Say I want to add 100. And this is pet fees, right? All right. So as you can see now, my expenses have been added. I have that extra expense of $100, all right? So let's take a look at the totals, the summary. This part here on on column C, you have all your totals for each category. The bar chart on the right hand side shows you our income relative to expenses. Of course, we want our expenses to be lower than our income, right? Otherwise, we could enter into a problem where we need to acquire debt to cover our expenses, and ideally we also want to be saving. The donut graph or chart on the left hand side shows you the percentage of your income spent. So right now 75% of our income goes to pay those expenses. The other 25% is going to my savings of $550 this particular month. And then we also have a cash balance of $264. So that's money that we didn't use. All right. So my recommendation would be to start creating your personal budget every month just to keep track of your expenses. And if for any reason your expenses end up being greater than your income, then you're going to be using debt, right? You're going to be getting into debt in order to be able to cover those expenses. So we don't want to get into that situation. We want to have some wiggle room where we can have extra cash, and hopefully we want to create some room for savings. All right, so one way in which you can do that is go back to your monthly expenses and look at those variable items and see where you can cut down on that. So perhaps entertainment is a good item that you can cut down in. Maybe you have subscription to Netflix and Apple TV and you don't really watch those all the time. Or maybe if you didn't have them, you would have more time for studying, right? So we can cut down on that. Maybe you smoke and that's a good habit to quit. So maybe we can save money on that. Maybe groceries are really high. So you have to think of way in which you can reduce that. Or eating out in a restaurant, maybe you need to cook more at home in order to reduce your your outings, right, to restaurants. So make sure that you analyze that data and you can make some significant changes in your budget. So hopefully you find this very useful. Please, I'm always welcoming feedback and I want to hear what you're doing, what skills you're applying, which templates you discover. So be sure to, as I said, post a screenshot and make some comments there and post in our discussion board. See you in the next video.